Hey everyone, it's Jessie Kalen with Jessie Kalen 777, right? All right, so this is a different sort of reading, but one that I do hope to incorporate more into the channel. I'm going to be posting lots of videos. I do love this channel. And so, all right, the kind of reading that we'll be doing is for divine masculine and divine feminine. Now, this can be related to twin flame energies. This can absolutely be a twin flame community sort of channel. But do keep in mind, we all have divine masculine energies and divine feminine energies. When you are a twin flame, when you're living a twin flame experience or a soulmate experience, when you're in a relationship, when you're in a union, it's never you and them only. It's you and them with you and them. I think, wait, hold up. There was like a beautiful thing where it's like, there are really 6 people in every relationship, because there's who you think you are, who they think you are, who you truly are, along with who they think they are, who you think they are, who they truly are. Which is kind of cool. So I feel like these divine masculine, divine feminine readings can be really beneficial to those who are in the twin flame spiritual community, as well as people who are feeling lost and unbalanced. You know, people who are going through struggle often forget to feed the other half of their energies, and they get caught up in things. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to put these back in the deck. They fell out, but probably more for punctuation than anything. All right, so let's get a card for the mental space for the divine masculine, please. You want the divine feminine first? Okay, so a card for the mental space of the divine feminine. A card for the emotional space of the divine feminine. And a card of the physical space for the divine feminine. We have 2 cards. Excellent. I have so much stuff on my altar. I got my seashell for emotion, waterscape. It was polished, but you know, like, what can you do? We live in this world where humans love to meddle with things. I have celestite, which is a beautiful crystal. It's also known as the guardian angel crystal. And I was drawn to celestite. I actually bought a huge one for my father when I was first being drawn to crystals and stuff. And little did I know that I needed the guardian crystal against my father. So she found her way back to me, the celestite. All right, so let's focus on the divine masculine mental space. There it is. Okay. Emotional space for the divine masculine. Okay, and can I get... So that was physical space. Okay. Now these cards are important, but I feel like they are going to tell their own story after all is said and done. And again, I am using the Shadowscapes tarot deck. Oh, where did I put... I'm sorry. Oh, it's all the way over there because I was using it early this morning. But it's the Shadowscapes Tarot. You can look online for specifics if you like. Before we get down to the reading, if you would like a personal reading with me, you have 2 options. You can buy a singular personal reading for $20, or you can buy a package at this point in time, 5 readings for $50 to be used within a 6-month span from the date of purchase. And so all of that information will be down below. All of the instructions will be laid out. You can also do an energy exchange reading if you have the funds and really appreciated this message. And if you don't have the funds and you would like to support the channel, please share and subscribe, and word of mouth is pivotal to any new forming business. So I love you and thank you for showing your love in return. So let's set these up here. I also have been in this like weird space of touching all of my things and packing. So like my desk is not the cleanest at the moment, but the message will come through. So what we have for the mental spaces. So for the divine feminine, and we're going to go through the divine feminine first, and then we'll head over to the divine masculine. That's the way that spirit wants this reading done at this point in time. So for the for the mental spaces, Eight of Wands, lots of wishing, lots of dreaming, lots of holding on to like an end goal, something on the horizon. This is a huge faith card. And there's also a huge spurt of personal power going on in this mental space. So the divine feminine is racking their brain about, and so this could be part of you, like, yes, I've been thinking about this. And then when the divine masculine pops up, don't be afraid if like that also applies to you. But it doesn't have to. Whatever resonates with you. Okay. So the Eight of Wands being so with the daydreaming, form your dreams. Okay. So if you can provide a structure and a plan to these dreams, I am getting a heavy dose of linear time at play here. So be careful about trying to achieve your dreams too fast, too much, too hard, not leaving wiggle room for the universe, but your thinking is inspired and it does have strong foundation on which for the divine feminine to build on, all right? So the emotional space, 10 of Wands. Too much going on, too much responsibility, too much aftermath, too much, just too much is on your shoulders. So that's what is sort of inspiring this card. And as I say that, this card flips out the Page of Swords. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. So it might be what is inspiring this daydreaming aspect. This, I have so much to accomplish. Let me get a little bit organized sort of energy, because breaking point. Being able to decipher now in your heart, what is your responsibility? What are your burdens? What are your karmic debts? What is yours to handle and what is not? Now's the time for the divine feminine to kind of like apply attention to the relationships and situations in their life and cut cords, right? Because something sticking out from the booklet, and it makes a lot of sense here, is that the woman is the tree, right? And she's holding on what seems to be a beautiful, live piece of land with lots of critters and hosts. But the thing is, were those critters ever really hers to host in the first place? Just because it is vibrant and alive and sacred in that way does not mean that you need to continue doing this. Trust that if you need to straighten up and shake off some of that excess branches and stuff, and like, don't live on me. Don't tread on me. Bringing it down to just you, that's what this daydreaming is about. All right. And that is also what this Page of Swords is about. This is the double card that came out with the physical scape. This Page of Swords is being sharp. Not wielding the double-edged sword of life to harm or wound people. Divine feminine energies, let's keep true love in mind, and let's keep our sword for self-defense and self-defense alone. Merely to deflect any charges. Not to, deflect and then point. Try our best. And I say I identify as both. Honestly, truly, I'm a transgendered man. I will always have divine feminine within me, just in a different manner, right? So, but I was a woman for 28 years, so whatever. But just taking that self-defensive attitude and cutting out things in your life with a calm and clear head. Please meditate. Don't get too caught up in the emotional scape. And that's what wow. Okay, so we have two swords. We have the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords. The Page of Swords. So now this page under the Queen, this is a learner. This is an apprentice, shall we say. Now, oh, that's beautiful. First of all, I love that these are swans, and how fitting, because DM and DF, especially in the twin flame community, swans mate for life, right? Swans are one of those symbols of true love, pure love, I should say. But there is a tiny little a tiny little gosling, a tiny little baby swan, while her sword is at the ready but at rest. It is not sheathed, but the attention is not on the sword and being at use. So even though that the divine feminines are feeling really burdened and feeling really heavy, oh, and that's what these 3 cards are about. It's about the union of the two and the storyline. So perhaps with the, I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay, so anyway, I lost track with the, the learning, right? The patience. You will handle everything. And the divine feminine may have to kind of channel into a divine masculine frequency. Or not, depending. If it's any degree of change, know that power has no mold. Power is there, and we are the funnels it filters through. So however you want to filter this power, but the Queen of Swords is loving. But notice, okay, her sword, this Queen of Swords, her sword is so curved, it's so protective. She's made her own space enough with her double-edged sword of truth. She's wielded her own sword into such a way where it is a protective orb around her so that any negativity coming to her gets sliced. It's almost effortless. But the divine feminines are in the process of learning how to get to this energy in the physical world, to know when she's being lied to, manipulated, sensing people's energies way more, understanding her own triggers, right? And setting boundaries for those triggers. Especially with, like, I feel like trigger has become a trigger word almost. Like, don't step on my triggers. It's like, no, everybody has triggers. Everybody has those. Everybody has boundaries. And we set boundaries for those triggers for ourselves. That's a lesson for the divine feminines. It's not anybody else's responsibility to not step on your triggers. But it is your responsibility to set up boundaries so that they don't step on your triggers. It's doing the work for people. It's knowing your own triggers so much that you know how to not set them off. And with that being said, you have control of your triggers and you control how sensitive your triggers are. Are you hairline sensitive? I know I've been there. It sucks because when you snap, you know why, you try to know why, but when you try to convey why, the other person is not in a space because you've already gone off. They're not going to be in a receptive space because you're not in a loving space to deliver, right? So it is learning how to become self-reliant in your protections, which will lead you to really, really good things. That's the energy going on right now as it is. Yeah, I'll be doing spontaneous readings all the time. I love this. Okay, so for the divine masculines, what we have going on in the mental scape is 3 of Cups. So this is a little bit of victory. Not a little bit, this is a lot of it. This is attracting in your vibe tribe. If you are experiencing a twin flame experience and you have not met that person yet, you very well might in the very near future. Or the divine masculines are kind of like looking over their shoulder and realizing something and realizing who to attract in. The thing about the twin flame community and the reason why it's growing so much at this point in time is because the cosmos are tugging for a lot of people to experience that kind of love. Guess what? We all have a twin flame. Every single one of us. In order to exist in this life, we have to we split into 2. Into fragmented experience from a less fragmented experience. we are always bigger than we think we are. So dealing with these egos can be extremely frustrating. But there's also a hunger happening here, which can be appeased through means of friendship. Bubble of truth here. In the mental scape, I am really feeling the divine masculine energy gravitating toward like-minded and similar frequencied creatures. Allow this to happen, divine masculines. If this means that you need to perhaps make room for different people by, cutting ties or spending less time with a group of people or a hobby that might not be good for you, it's okay, because good things come in threes. Now, that's not for the people, but that's for the decision-making process. To be quite honest, that's what I'm feeling. It's the divine masculines going three decisions, oh, that doesn't fit for me anymore. This fits for me now. Now I have to do this. Right? And it's a very celebratory thing, but I am also feeling a little bit of a workload, a spiritual workload that needs to happen in order for that to progress. So, you can't make this stuff up. For the emotional scape for the divine masculine is 8 of Pentacles, and it's depicted with the spider making a web. This is about co-creation. Now, in the emotional scape for the divine masculines, I'm sensing a lot of cobwebs. There's a lot of surface area for you to use and utilize in the making of your life that you might have used as a platform for projects or friendships or people that just took up space and cluttered up things. Direct reflection of my dirty desk right here, right? And it's about to get all kinds of cleaned up. I think I'm going to go to Colorado and stay with my uncle for a little bit if he'll have me. But anyway, so the divine masculines painting your picture. In your emotional scape, in your emotional world, really practicing choice, your co-creative choice of following your heart and taking action on it. There's not a whole lot else to be said about that. It's a vague statement, but it holds a lot of gravity. Take it as you will. For the physical scope, for the divine masculine, 4 of Swords. Swords, swords, swords for everybody in the 3D reality. So the divine masculine, don't really push things. It is your job to recognize and to co-create in your emotional scape, because your mental and your emotional will form the physical. The divine feminine energy is really under this more manifestation mode, whereas the divine masculine is more under this revisory mode. Looking back on the life and the choices and the dedication and the time spent and the outcome of it thus far in this present moment, making whatever changes. So in your physical world, another thing about the 4 of Swords, rest, relaxation, take naps, pay attention to your dreams. Allow dreams to be a revealing factor for you. And also, if you are scrambling to try to make things happen, don't. Let things come to you. Especially if you're in a period of depravity, let things come to you. Release your concerns. Give them over to the divine source to be sorted out on your behalf. Okay? Let's set these aside. And let's see what we got going on for the twin flame union sort of community. Yeah. I really do. I really want to be also a channel for that. Oh, well, it would help. Okay, well, first of all, this was no mistake. I flipped them out all reverse. Now, the cards themselves are not reverse, but the act of coming out reverse and needing to be righted, that's real. That's a sign. So, for the divine masculine and the divine feminine, in order to meet a person or build on a divine union membership, a divine union relationship, there has to be, on both ends of each individual person, in each of their individual energies of divine, feminine, masculine, combination, what have you, there has to be a degree of change, of flipping things around, of being different from who you were in the past. Because who you were in the past is not like, okay, so even if you are with your divine twin, if you're with your twin partner and you're in union, who you were in the past, both of you may not be who you will be in the future. So like, it's wonderful that you have that support system and that twin, but don't be surprised if there's bumps in the road, new reflections to look into. Use each other as a supportive mirror as you both change. But right now there is a bunch of change happening. And this is for the DM and TF community. So there's a lot of change happening, and be bold in being different to get the outcome you desire. We're never done evolving. Don't stay comfortable. Don't stay comfortable, because that's not how you achieve greatness, right? So we have Ace of Pentacles, the Empress, and Five of Swords. So again, we have a degree, along with two really good cards though. So like the Ace of Pentacles, start of something new. This is financial, this is abundance, this is hearth and home, this is, I'm hearing union. Now, typically that would be like the Ace of Cups, right? But the Ace of Pentacles, this is the starting point. This is the DM and the DF taking control of their own individual 3D lives, making it stable, foundational, lush, abundant, to bring things to the table for the partner. Now, that does not mean that you have to do what you cannot do, right? If it's not in divine timing, that you're not the breadwinner, don't convince yourself that that's what you have to be. Right? The Page of Swords with the divine feminine, like, it's okay to learn. The Four of Swords with the divine masculine, take a break. You do not have to be anything. You simply have to be, and to the utmost degree. So the DFs are learning what that is and will be successful in applying it. And the divine masculines are kind of like taking a rest on, wow, yeah, so there's a degree of toxic masculinity, conditioning in the world, where the divine masculine goes like, I have to be this, ABC, 1, 2, 3. And if I don't, I feel bad. I feel guilty. I feel wrong. That's just you recalibrating yourself away from the social conditioning. You do not have to be anything. All right. So the two are really paving the way for a divine, lovely start or restart or revamp. So if you've been in communications, you may be laying the groundwork for physical union, for dating, for communicating even. And if you are in union and you are having that sort of story laid out before you, the Ace of Pentacles represents a fresh, new, bountiful chapter. Very healthy. The Empress. All right. Now this, even with the divine masculine energy, this is a more feminine energy. This is a more feminine control. This is, the divine masculine is linear. The masculine energy is structure. It is foundational. It is, we will get to this place as quickly as possible from here to here. But the divine feminine is the spiral around, right? It's like the trajectory of a planet or a star even. It's not just forward. We're floating through the universe, but the star is spiraling as it's going forward into something else. So it's focusing more on that energy and releasing the divine masculine energy of, it has to be this way. I need it to be this way. My ego would be appeased if. Release that. Deal with the harsh truth and learn how to utilize it for the greatest good and taking control in a more feminine energy. Even the divine masculines, you may want to release more into the feminine energy of the co-creation. This is dreamier. This is the dreamscape that is allowed to be because of a strong masculine energy foundation, right? We're going to spend some time in this energy, this daydreamy energy, this successful, co-creative, true, divine, unconditional love. There we go. That's another thing about this union, is that the both of you, divine masculine, divine feminine, need to trust and pour in unconditional love toward this other person. We need to feel that right now. If you can, let them know. Without the energy of expectation of anything in return. It's kind of like listening for the sake of listening and not to respond. Hello, I offer you this love. This is for you. That's it. All right? Pouring that kind of successful energy into it and trust, because when you give that sort of love, you can also be like, so let it be. So mote it be. You have my love. Always. Forever. No matter what. And then that Five of Swords is dealing with the 3D reality. This Five of Swords is fighting the demons within our own selves. Each individual ego has their own demons, which they must rise above. And this is not so much a fighting card, but it is a conflict card. I'm feeling more of the internal conflict and, yeah, fighting with yourself. Deciding what it is you bring to this new chapter, to this newness. If you want this, you gotta set to rest the residual. We have been working really hard for a really long time on releasing, changing, gaining control, all that jazz. We don't want even the residue of that in our fresh chapter. So, final stages of setting down things that no longer serve you. Okay? Wow, there it is. This was awesome. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please subscribe, share, and word of mouth is excellent. Keep in mind the options for assistance if you do require it. And I love you so much, and good luck on your journeys, babies, and I will talk to you soon. Mwah!